Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay, see me okay. Uh, Sorry I'm late, uh, but I needed to clean up. And good morning. Welcome to Running on Jesus and Coffee. Amen. I have Jesus. Amen. And I have coffee. Uh, so today's subject is about why I didn't do the video on Friday and why I didn't do the video yesterday. Um, and the whole reason for that was I was in the hospital. Uh, I did not get out until uh, late uh, yesterday afternoon. Uh, just in short, I I've not been feeling real good as far as my uh, brain goes, and the um, oh, okay, there we go. And I've been dizzy a lot more, lightheaded. Uh, I've been getting these dizzy headaches that are not fun, and part of the problem has been my blood pressure has been low, and uh, they got to get with my cardiologist and talk to him about changing out, reducing my blood pressure medicine. But I've also been struggling with um, uh, okay, anyway, been struggling with um, my brain and with my blood pressure and everything. Good morning, Rebecca. God bless you. Uh, the um, so anyway, I'm still struggling. I apologize for the gaps in my speech and wording, um, but in my thoughts. The problem that the biggest problem they found was that I have um, carotid arteries. They're the arteries in your neck that feed your brain with blood and oxygen, and mine uh, are blocked over 80%. I've got one that's over 80%. The other one, I'm not sure exactly, uh, but it is definitely an issue. Uh, Having these blocked arteries is what will cause people to have strokes, and I've had three of those. I've had one that was so small I didn't even know I had it, and then I've had two TAs, I think they call them. They're mild ones, but I felt those, and I didn't even like those. But then 2 years ago, when I had that episode, and they blamed the carotid arteries being blocked for that episode, and I needed to have surgery right away. Um, they also will cause more major strokes, and I did have one of those, and that's why I still wobble and stuff, but I was getting better, or I was doing okay. Well, because they're now blocked again, because God performed a miracle and cleaned them out. And I don't know if it was my eating habits or what the problem was uh, that caused me to have them get blocked up again. Um, the Sorry, but I'm going to find out. Uh, they let me leave the hospital. I did a Facebook post about what was going on, and I was going to be having surgery, and I wouldn't be able to do these videos because I thought at the time they were going to just transfer me to another hospital to where I could get a surgery, but they didn't do that. They went ahead and sent me home. I have a vascular surgeon that is uh, going to be working with me. Uh, he, I will be getting him tomorrow the videos or the CD with all the images and the printed out report about everything, and he will get to look at all that. And then on the 16th, I will see him, and uh, him and I will talk about when we're going to do the surgery. A personal level, I hope it's soon, unless God decides to clean my arteries out on his own, like he did the last time, because nobody would do the surgery. 2 years ago, I didn't have Medicare, so Texas couldn't do it. Then I went to Nevada, and they said I wasn't bad enough, and they insulted Texas doctors. That's not a good thing in my book. Long story short, I asked God to either clean my arteries out because I know He can do it. He's healed or kept, He's healed my heart. He protected me from having a heart attack on several occasions. So I know He can do this. Amen. So and He did. And by a year ago, last December, my arteries were 100% clear, but now they're not. And I got to have surgery. Uh, and so, with probably in the next couple weeks, I will be going back into a hospital and having surgery. And it's a major surgery, from what I understand. And I will probably get sent to a recovery hospital right afterwards, and uh, probably get some home. Well, in the next for the next week or so before I go to surgery, I'm going to be having in-home uh, medical assistance. Basically, a nurse is going to be coming by every day and visiting me and making sure I'm checking on me and making sure I'm okay. And then, if need be, calling the doctors about what's going on. Uh, yes, thank you, Rebecca. Uh, so uh, I know Jesus is with me because yesterday, I mean, through the weekend, I've been talking to him about what's going on because he cleaned them out and now they're clogged again. And, uh, you know, what am I going to do? And I live alone. I mean, I get company every Wednesday and every Sunday, which is great. I get a whole church full of people. But during the rest of the week, I'm alone. I'm having to take care of myself and stuff. And it's right at this moment, it's a little harder than I got to be a lot slower, a lot easier. So, anyway, long story short, yesterday, the hospitalist doctor that came to see me and talk with me was from Africa, and he asked, you know, check me out, talk to me about some things, and then he asked me with a big smile on his face, uh, if I do I believe in Jesus, and I'm like, oh yeah, and he goes, well, may I pray for you? I almost cried because, oh, thank you, sister. God bless you. Um, he, doctors never ever offered to pray for me. They always will let me pray for them, but they never asked me to pray for me. But he did. And that, for me, and along with some other things that happened yesterday, was God telling me that he is with me, that he's walking with me through the valley of death and darkness. And he's walking on the beach with me, and when as I'm walking through this hard time right now, he's actually carrying me. So I know that okay, sister, God bless you. I will be praying for you. Uh, the Send me a message as to what it is you need prayer for. Uh, so I know Jesus is with me. I'm gonna be okay. God has not. He's not gonna let me die, because this surgery I could die for it, just like with the heart surgery I had and everything. This is a pretty major surgery. So when I'm done with all the recovery, then I'll be getting back on YouTube and Facebook and doing these live videos on 10 o'clock Friday night, and then at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Uh, but until I go to the hospital, as long as I'm able to, I will do these videos for the next week or two until they take me to the hospital to have the surgery done. So just keep me in prayer. Uh, this is, you are loved by our Father. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Uh, uh, I know that God is going to take care of me. Meantime, I just got to go slow. And if anybody has really good vegetarian type, easy to do, because I can't stand in the kitchen for very long, recipes and stuff, please send them. If anybody locally in the Freeport area or the surrounding cities are in the area and want to come over and help me prep some food through the week that makes it easier for me, uh, I would greatly appreciate that. Um, but I will be doing the videos, but I will also uh, be doing uh, the videos during the next couple of weeks. I'll be on Friday night as long as I'm able to. Okay, because of my basically my brain's not getting enough blood and oxygen because the arteries are clogged up so badly, and I get fatigued really easy. So this is what's going on. This is why I did put a post on Facebook about a little bit about what's been going on, and I promised I was going to do a video Friday, and I didn't get to do it. promised to do a video yesterday, and I didn't get to do it because I was in the hospital. So God's going to take care of this. I know that. I just got to take care of myself as well. Amen. And but while we're here, and since I did not get to do the weekly Bible reading from last week, let's do a short Bible reading. Let's look up the book of Luke. If somebody wants to put that in the comments, the book of Luke, chapter 10. We're going to read. Oh, shoot, my battery's dying. Okay, sorry about that. In book of Luke, chapter or verses 30 through 32. We're going to be talking about the Good Samaritan. And that's, I was just thinking about this today. A good friend, Pastor Mike Mendez in DeSoto, I think, Texas, was talking about how we need to love one another, how we need to, thank you, Rebecca, how we need to love foreigners, how we need to just love people, period, no matter where they're from. And the Good Samaritan version story that Jesus tells is so perfect for that. So let's read real quick. Verse 30, and this is Jesus going to be speaking. Jesus replied and said, let's read verse 29 first and then continue. But wishing to justify himself, and this was a lawyer who was asking what he had to do to get into heaven and what he had to do to love. Jesus told him he had to, love God and love his neighbor. And so he says, but wishing to justify himself, okay, he said to Jesus, and who is my neighbor? So Jesus replied and said, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among robbers. And they stripped him and beat him and went away, leaving him half dead. Now, this is a good point right here. Keep this in mind as we read. He was not dead. Okay? Because if a priest or rabbi or anybody, any Jew came upon a dead body, if they touched it, they would be unclean. But this man was not dead. He was pretty close, but he wasn't there. Verse 31, and by chance a priest was going down on that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. Wow. Why did he do that? This man wasn't dead. Likewise, a Levite also, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. Wow. Two Jewish religious leaders saw this Jewish man half dead, and they got on the other side of the road and walked on by. They were so worried that he might be dead and they would become unclean and would have to ritually bathe themselves and for till the next day or 7 days or something like that. They were more worried about that than saving and taking care of a man who needed their help. This is all about loving our neighbors no matter where they come from. And if we have foreigners coming into our country, we need to love them, not hate on them. We need to share Jesus with them. Amen. So, verse 33, but a Samaritan who was on the journey came upon him, and when he saw him, he felt compassion. Wow. Now, this is very significant because this was a foreigner in the near Jerusalem traveling, and not only that, but he was an enemy of the Jewish people. They hated each other. Okay? But yet he, a Samaritan, came on and had compassion for this Jewish man that had been beaten half to death. And he came to him and bandaged up his wounds, pouring oil and wine on them. And he put him on his own beast and brought him to an inn and took care of him. On the next day, he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper and said, "Take care of him, and whatever more you spend, when I return, I will repay you." Which of these 3 do you think proved to be a neighbor to the man who fell into the robbers' hands? That's Jesus was asking the lawyer. That's a question for you to think about. Who was the true neighbor? Who set the true example of loving your neighbor as yourself? Amen? In verse 37, and he said, the one who showed mercy toward him. Then Jesus said to him, go and do the same. He's telling us to go and do the same. Amen. Martha and Mary, verses 38 through 42. Now, as they were traveling along, he entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She and her sister, called Mary, who was seated at the Lord's feet, listening to his word. But Martha was distracted with all her preparations. And she came up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the serving alone? Then tell her to help me. This does relate to the Good Samaritan story, because the priest and the Levite were more concerned about their preparations and their own dealing with their own stuff than caring for somebody else. Martha was more worried about making a big meal, getting things cleaned up, getting everything prepared for all the men that were in the house at the time, Jesus and his disciples, than she was to listen and to hear the good news that Jesus had, which is way more important than the meal, a physical meal, a meal for her belly. He was giving and serving a spiritual meal that everybody needed to hear, including Martha, right? So, but Jesus, 41, but the Lord answered and said to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered about many things, but only one thing is necessary. For Mary has chosen the good part, which shall not be taken away from her. Amen. We need to be more worried about caring for our neighbors, no matter who they are, whether they're from Mexico, Canada, Ukraine, Pakistan, Philippines, anywhere, than being so worried about what about our own needs and preparing things for the church, or even worse, being more worried about our jobs and the work that we want to be doing and stuff, because serving others is serving Jesus. And we need to be more interested and more in tune to listen to what Jesus is trying to tell us. That's why we need to run on this book. Running on coffee helps. In my case, it keeps the world safe. That's a joke. But we need this more. Actually, we need this more than we need this. This should come first. It's good to do both together, but this should come first. So, anyway, I'm going to close out the video. Like I said, this is going to be a short one. But now you know what's going on with me, and just keep me in prayer. If you need prayer, if you have questions about the Bible, about Jesus, then yeah, Rebecca did a better job of putting that up there. Thank you, Rebecca. And this will go on the replay as well, so people will have that on there. But in the comments, the description of the video, I have my email address. You can also message me through Facebook if you have questions, you need prayer, or if you want to give an offering to this ministry, then message me, email me, and I will get that information to you if you would like to do that. On Facebook, I think I get stars, but maybe not yet. I got to get 500 followers, and I'm not there yet. So, but anyway, thank you for tuning in. I will try to be on here Friday night and next Monday, and then we'll see what we do on after next Thursday. So, be blessed. God bless everybody.